You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down of my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode. From the sidelines down to the post. Put it down like not even close. All out to the last whistle blow. From the flag with the soul and crossbones. Everybody stand up, get your hands up. Let a team know that we got their back.
How about those friggin' Pirates?
Welcome into a very special edition of the Sports Objective as we have a big game on the Diamond in Bowie's Creek tomorrow. And right now we're going to bring in, first of all, Bubba Rosenbaum. Man, how are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. Hope you gentlemen had an excellent Monday. You talk about the Pirates. It seems like, as always is the case, that first midweek game traveling down to Bowie's Creek to take on the Campbell Camels. I had the opportunity to catch up with Justin Hare earlier this afternoon, and we'll have that for you on our YouTube channel. You can go ahead and check that out. But right now, very excited to be talking a variety of East Carolina athletics, baseball, as well as men's and women's basketball with beat writer Patrick Mason of the Reflector. Patrick, we appreciate your time this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
No doubt. I guess, Patrick, you're tired to see me. It was a long weekend, but good when we were talking in the green room. It's always good when you can win, and you're having some luck here with the teams you're the beat writer for winning.
That's right. Yeah, I think it was Saturday, so we had a doubleheader of baseball, and you and I jumped back and forth over to the women's basketball team, which came back in the big fourth quarter to get their 19th win of the season, which was huge for them. And then, we were back there Sunday at Clark LeClaire, and ECU baseball team finished off with a sweep with 23 runs. So, yeah, like you said, it was just a great day for Pirate Athletics because, they played really well all around, and it was just fun to watch. And it's kind of fun because, they're kind of getting back on track, both teams. Baseball team getting back on track, and women's doing their thing right now. So, yeah, it was a fun weekend.
No doubt. Before I forget, happy birthday early. Patrick's birthday is tomorrow, and this is how dedicated he is to the Pirates, folks, and the Daily Reflector. He's going to be in Bowie's Creek celebrating his birthday. He's going to have a Bowie's Creek birthday, and hopefully the Pirates can give him another reason to celebrate and getting a victory right there against the Camels, right? Campbell.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah, birthday party in Bowie's Creek tomorrow. So yeah, let's do it up.
And no doubt about it. Looking forward to that. In fact, have you heard? We were speculating. I know with our good friend Stephen Igo from Hoist the Colors. Have you heard anything about a starting pitcher? We speculated yesterday. That's what we do for a living. But
yeah.
Do you know who the starting pitcher will be?
I don't. I guess if I would have to guess, maybe Charlie Hodges, coming off Tommy John surgery. They were kind of talking about him in the offseason about being a potential, addition to this team. But, I honestly, I'm not too sure. I actually thought Jake Hunter might get the start just because he was their Sunday starter for a lot of last year. But he ended up pitching the 9th inning in Sunday's win. And I guess it could go either way, where they could have used it as his bullpen day to kind of get some work, get some live action. But I guess we'll have to see. But my guess is either one of those two guys will probably get to start on Tuesday.
No doubt it's going to be a great game. And, man, I wish, Bubba, I'll pitch it to you. I wish I could be there at Bowie's Creek.
Yeah, it should be a heck of a ball game, and certainly a excellent opponent. Campbell has dominated the Big South in recent years, and winning a lot of times they'll win the regular season and the conference tournament. And a quality series win, taking 2 out of 3 from Rutgers, who was 44-15 a season ago. And I know you were asking Patrick about who the Pirates may throw, be it Jake Hunter or otherwise. Did find out earlier today in that interview with Justin Hare, without me even prodding him and asking, he said the East Tennessee State transfer senior Hunter Lloyd, who had logged, I think, 144 innings and struck out 157 in those 144 innings, a 6'2", 205-pound righty will get the ball for the Camels.
Yeah, that's a lot of innings, right? Especially for a college pitcher, 144 innings, that's like a major league, workload. Yeah, that's a legit pitcher and a legit matchup tomorrow for the Pirates.
Yeah, that was about I think 71 to 73 innings over each of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, but still, that just shows you right there, Patrick, that the respect that Justin Hare and Cliff Godwin have for each other is that we always have like big time like duels, where we're fighting till the very end, and there might be a trick play or things that happen at the very end. I remember Connor Norby, Bubba, was that a suicide squeeze or it was a squeeze, I believe, that 20 was that 2021? My years have run together, but it was a couple years ago. Connor Norby had that like at the end of the game. I think or maybe he's still home, but it was like one of those plays you never see that. It was like an ace in the hole, so to speak.
Yeah, I remember the play you're referencing, Dave, but don't recall exactly when that was. But yeah, this is a series, like I mentioned in the open, just the down through the years, and you're always going to have the home and home, and it seems like the trip to Bowie's Creek always comes first, the 4th game of the season.
Yep.
In that first midweek game. And the only exception was, I guess, back in 2021 when the American altered the conference schedule, and because of that, the Pirates and Camels, I don't believe even played that season.
Yeah, it's a shame because we think a lot of Justin Hare. And, Patrick, there's different schools of thought, but the one thing that we can say about Justin Hare, not only a great coach, great guy, but he actually did it the transfer route way, that he gets a lot of transfers in and really has done a nice job. Like Bubba said, I mean, I remember Bubba and I texting, we were in our group text, they were giving Tennessee all the fits in Knoxville Regional, and we were pulling hard for Campbell because we think so much of Justin Hare and to knock down the number one. It was like David versus Goliath,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. Remember Texas last year? They had the kid who threw like 102 miles an hour, and I mean it was just so impressive. But yeah, I mean Campbell is always just impressive, and yeah, like they have the ability to say, to tell transfers, hey, when you come here, we're not just going to be another school. We're actually going to compete. We get to go to regionals. We're a really talented ball club. It's just it's funny how like they build that team, because I think you look at East Carolina, they build it through high school kids and development. I mean, they definitely pluck some transfer kids here and there, but it's just kind of unique how each team kind of builds it, but they're also both just really talented. So yeah, I'm excited about Tuesday. I mean, it's kind of fun that this midweek game, like you said, it's always kind of pops up here in the season, but yeah, it's definitely a fun one.
Yeah, it's one of those games that it's a rivalry, but it's not like it's one of those things where whenever the game is over, people aren't going to be mad with each other. It's like a regional rivalry situation where, like I said, once the game's over, we're going to have a good time. And you have to respect, even if it was like a really heated rivalry, you have to respect what Coach Hare has done. And I tell you what, another thing, Patrick, the facilities at Campbell, they've really upped their game, no pun intended, with that too. So with the baseball facility and everything.
Yeah. I was. I think I was telling you in the press box this week. I went there for a Legion ball game this summer. Obviously, I forget who's playing, but I just remember the facilities. I was like, holy smokes, this is actually a really cool ball field, and it just felt like nice. It felt like a place where you can actually watch some good baseball, and because a lot of places you go are just just feels like high school fields sometimes, and that's fine. But Campbell, definitely backs up the facilities with their play, and it definitely makes it like feel kind of a special place to go.
Yeah, this weekend we were talking last night on the extra innings. If you haven't had a chance, you can go back and I'll do a shameless plug. You can listen to that. But we're talking about how about 43 runs for this team. I thought, going in, you follow the team a lot closer, being the beat writer for the Pirates. But I thought that the bats would be a little bit slow. Not like that we would be struggling against. I knew that we wouldn't struggle against George Washington. Let me be very clear on that, because we know a lot of people listen and watch. But the bats really, really were the surprising factor, dominating fashion of 43 runs. If you told me that, I would have laughed at you ahead of time. If you said, Dave, we're going to score 43 runs against George Washington, I would have laughed.
Yeah, I mean, there was an incredible amount of runs. I think I ended up tweeting out at some point Sunday, it felt like we were watching batting practice. I mean, they were just hitting the ball all over the field. But you're right. I mean, just baseball by its nature, usually pitching is ahead of the bats just because I feel like it takes a while for hitters to see live pitching. I mean, just by the nature of the sport, it's hard to hit. It's hard to hit the baseball. I mean, the ball's coming 90 plus miles an hour. It's breaking, and I feel like once you get that, good base of like, hey, I've seen 100 pitches so far. I've had 30 at bats. Then you kind of start getting your feet under yourself, and you can kind of adjust. Then you start, seeing the offense produce. But yeah, East Carolina, they didn't seem to have that lag, right? I mean, they I guess from day one, from Saturday, they just started hitting the ball all over the place, and they really never let up. Honestly, I mean, it was a really impressive display, and it was. I think Jacob Starling said in the post game, it was a lot more fun weekend than last year's opening weekend, and I mean, who's to argue with that?
Yeah, you talk about the play of Jacob Starling, obviously the big home run in game one, and then he had a heck of a weekend. And one of the things that really impressed me, and it didn't surprise me because we saw it a season ago, one of Jacob's biggest things is, he was just trying to be more consistent this season than he was last year. And yesterday, he was hitting the ball with such power to all fields, and yesterday it was primarily to the backside.
Yeah, and that's what I asked him about post game. Was just like, what sort of approach or what sort of differences did you make in the off season to allow you to use all fields? And he was just saying, yeah, I worked a lot with the hitting coach and I worked a lot with some different coaches, but he just said, just kind of let the ball get deeper in the, deeper into his swing, and just kind of take what the pitch is given. And I think a lot of kids, just want to say, hey, I want to rip this thing, I want to pull this ball, I want to hit a home run. But if you can, push the ball to right center field, which Jacob Starling did, I mean, he almost hit a home run. I think right fielder made an incredible play robbing that home run. Otherwise, Jacob would have had a hit for the cycle.
Yeah,
But just to be able to, take what the pitcher's given him was just incredible. And you could definitely see the maturation from last year to this year, just how improved he is as a hitter. I know it's just one weekend, but it was impressive.
and like you said, there was no let up. The Pirates were up 17-5, and then threw up 6 there in the bottom of the 8th. And you had a guy like O'Reilly Johnson, who unfortunately was missing last year with that injury. But it was nice to see him do what he had done a couple years ago, because we had seen it in spurts. I think he had hit 3 or 4 home runs back in 2021.
Yeah, it's definitely I mean, it's like I said, we've only seen 3 games, but like I think you can start seeing like the depth on this roster. Especially in the infield, you can kind of interchange some pieces. You mentioned Riley Johnson hitting a home run. Even a guy like Luke Nowak, who last year was like, honestly, if he played, he was a pinch runner in some little situations, and now he's the DH, and he had 2 infield singles on Sunday. I just think that this roster is very deep, and Cliff has a lot of options to plug and play. Whether defensively, he can mess around with the lineup, righty, lefty kind of platoon options. It's just kind of it's unfolding to be a pretty fun roster. And like, I mean, there's plenty of depth, which is incredible for a baseball team, because that's what you need when you play 56 games.
No doubt about it, Patrick. And it's going to be nice when Ryan McChrystal comes back and you have that depth, because Will Coxon, I mean, we were talking about that before, like I mean, the dude like literally was 26 innings that he caught. I mean, in a short period of time, if you think about it. And I know that you and I, we were there in the press box and seeing with those cramps. It was we're like, oh man, we got to be careful with him, because we have a freshman, but you don't want to put a freshman in that. Well, at that point, it was probably okay, but you know what I mean. Like we're trying to mature him along and not just throw him in the fire, so to speak, out to the wolves.
And additionally, and this may have been, I think, Patrick, I'm sorry if I stepped on you there, but Nick DeLisi, that very talented freshman that you referenced, I believe he's also coming back from an injury. So that's something else to take into consideration. Like Cliff mentioned in post game, I guess it was Saturday, saying that Justin really didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah, because we all saw him. He was shaking out I think it was his left leg, and I guess he ended up. We talked to him post game, and he said it ended up being cramps. But yeah, when you catch 3 straight games, including a doubleheader to kick off the season, I'm sure that's not something you did in the off season, right? I mean, you can practice all you want, but you never squat for 8 hours, right? Like it's
Exactly.
definitely a unique situation. So yeah, he's kind of got to be the Iron Man. But I guess the unique part of that is like his bat is like you don't want that out of the lineup, right? I mean, he just won AC or AAC Player of the Week.
Right.
I mean, he literally had an incredible weekend, and he's like basically halfway to all of his stats from last year. I mean, he's just hitting the ball all over the field. So, I mean, obviously, yeah, you kind of worry about like, hey, man, there's a lot of catching you got to do, and you're kind of, I don't know what we got behind you, but I mean, if he's hitting like that, I guess you just let him go and just, kind of hope for the best at this point.
And also, Patrick, I want to mention the fact that one of the cool things I think we talked about over the weekend is the fact that it's cool to watch these players develop. And when you want to talk about a great coaching staff with Jeff Palumbo, Austin Knight, of course, head coach Cliff Godwin, they do a great job with player development. They're already great recruits, right? So they're big time, and they come in and they make them even better. And when you see Will Coxon, he's like so much better when it comes to, I would say, probably behind the plate, but certainly his bat.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could definitely tell there was an offensive, I don't know, like resurgence is the word, but like something clicked for him that he's hunting pitches. I mean, that was so obvious in this weekend where he gets his pitch, he's swinging hard, he's going to hit it to the gap. It was incredible. And you mentioned Austin Knight too, and I think it's kind of important where we saw Trey Savage, who was basically a 1 inning reliever last year. He came in and he just lights out. He throws 95 miles an hour. When he started the second game on Saturday, George Washington was ready for that fastball, right? They were like, all right, this kid throws hard. We're going to hit this fastball. And you could tell, like, and Cliff mentioned it, in post game where him and Austin Knight talk with Trey, and you got to work backward a little bit. And once Trey started like throwing that changeup or that curveball slider early in the count, like it was just worlds of difference. So I think like just that on field, like in real time adjustments is huge. And because like, Trey is a guy who has lights out stuff, who can blow anyone away. But when a team says, all right, I'm going to be ready for 90, 93, 94, a college kid's going to hit that. And I think once they made that adjustment, we saw a huge difference. So yeah, like you said, this coaching staff is definitely paying attention. They're on the ball, and it's definitely paid dividends.
No question about it. It's fun to watch this team. In fact, Bubba, not to look ahead, but one thing, and obviously coaching staff, but while we have you, Patrick, Bubba, this weekend is going to be huge in Greenville, right?
Yeah, it'll be an unbelievable atmosphere. I'm so glad that Coach Godwin and Coach Scott Forbes at North Carolina are on the same page.
Yes.
As far as playing this traveling series with this year too being in Greenville and then the Sunday game being in Chapel Hill. Obviously, it was flipped a season ago, and it's just great for college baseball. You have teams that are ranked in the top 15 pretty much in every poll, and obviously D1 baseball, 11th and 12th respectively for the Pirates and Tar Heels. And just so much talent on these two rosters, and over 5,000
for sure. Well, I think what was it, Dave? You can help me out here. I think it was the second or third largest opening day crowd.
Third largest,
yeah, third largest. And yeah, I mean, like you said, it's great that the first 2 games are here in Greenville, and 11 versus number 12. I mean, you can pick a sport, right? Football, basketball, any sort of sport, wrestling. I mean, if you get number 11 and 12 in the country, that is something you got to pay attention to. It's huge. It's big time, and it's just awesome that it's happening. Like week 2 of the year. I mean, it's really fun.
No doubt. And one of the great things, as I was telling you guys this weekend, is this is going to have by far a regional atmosphere. I had people already asking me for tickets, Patrick. I'm like, hey, I got to go to the game too, and my kids. So, but we have people. In all seriousness, we have people that I can't imagine. Now I'll look this week on the secondary market. I'm curious to see if what the tickets are going for, and not trying to over hype it or amp it up, but it doesn't need it because it's a great series. But you're right, Patrick, having the number 11 team and number 12 team, plus when you have a situation where they're state rivals, and very good programs. So, I mean, it's going to be awesome. And I can't imagine being a writer like yourself. It's fun what we do, but being a writer, it's got to be fun having such a good baseball program.
Yeah, it's definitely fun and it's exciting just because like people are paying attention and it feels like you're part of something. I don't know how to say bigger, but you're just a part of something that's it feels special and it's every game like you said it's second weekend. There's a million games in baseball, but it just feels like this it's almost like a little Super Bowl kind of thing. It definitely has that excitement around it. So it's definitely really fun to be a part of, and to write about it and just to be around it.
And I know you're from the Midwest. Obviously, you went to the University of Iowa. So I hope here in a few months that you're able to tell your family and friends that, hey, I'm going to be in Omaha for a week or two, covering East Carolina baseball.
That's right. And like I don't want to open up any old wounds, but last year my parents were saying because they live in Illinois now, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna drive down to Nebraska just for this, for ECU." And it's so funny because my parents are just like huge ECU fans when they wasn't even on their radar, a few years ago. But they were like, well, we're gonna drive down, we're gonna support. Obviously it didn't happen, but I just think that's so fun. Where like this team can really rally just like people from across the country. I think it's really cool.
Absolutely. Jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, everybody, Pat, everybody likes a winner. And speaking of which, I know you've got another story to do here in a little bit, so we don't want to keep you too long, but I want to talk for a few minutes, Bubba, and we can come back if we have to baseball. But I got to give love to Kim McNeil, Coach Kim, Coach Corey. I tell you what, how exciting is it? A chance on Wednesday night for the 20th win, and that can come at Williams Arena Menchie's Coliseum. And the admissions are free. First 250 people get a T-shirt. And man, it's so exciting. I've got people there in group text. Are you going to the game on Wednesday night? And I'm like, for our basketball teams. And I'm like, no, I've got an AAU practice. I got to go to an Aiden. Trust me, I would be there if I could.
Yeah, they are a really fun basketball team, and just like defensively, they are incredible. They get after you, they hound you. I mean, that's how they end up winning basketball games. They just play with such a pride, and I mean, obviously, Maya Joyner sticks out. She's an incredible talent, and I think the fun thing is like we're seeing like the tip of the iceberg. She is very raw. She is very she's still inexperienced. She's letting some stuff get to her, but at the same time, she's dropping a double on your head every game. Danae McNeil is just she can take over a game at any time. And I feel like this isn't a women's basketball team we've seen under Kim McNeil before. You could definitely see like this road she's taken. And I mean, they're playing phenomenal right now.
No question. Free admission, like Bubba put up on the screen if you're listening, and it's going to be great. We need to, I guess Coach told us in the post-game press conference, Patrick, we need 2,000 to 3,000 people. Hey, let's shoot for the moon. Maybe it's several thousand people. I mean, free is free. What are you doing on Wednesday night? Some of you I know go to church like me, but hey, you can miss a Wednesday night. The Lord will forgive you because I am a religious person, but when we have something going on Wednesday night like this, it's a big deal. And I know Bubba, if Bubba was anywhere close to us, I promise you, if he was in a stone's throw away like me, Bubba, you always give me a hard time. He's like, man, if I was 45 minutes away, I'd be at everything. Right, Bubba? I don't know if we lost Bubba, but anyway, Pat, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know that this team is exciting because they have a chance to do something special. We haven't been to the WNIT, like I was telling you, since 2015.
Right.
Only 2 times to the Big Dance, 1981, 2008, off the top of my head. I hope that's right. I'm not a math guy, but Bubba is. But it's only twice for the men's and women's programs to go to the Big Dance. So just the fact that we can get the program headed in the right direction, which they've done a nice job, 19-8, 10-4, second in the American, Pat. Patrick with that's really, they were picked 11th, as you remember, by our wonderful media. The media picked them 11th, and here we go, right?
Yeah, there was I'm pretty sure it was Super Bowl Sunday. I was covering the women's basketball game, and they ended. Oh my goodness, I forget who they played. Anyway, Kim McNeil in the post game interview is just saying, "Hey, like they picked us last." Like she said that a couple different times, and I was asking her about it, and she said, we didn't talk about it too much as a team. You got to move on and do you. But she said as soon as conference play started, she brought it up again and said, "Hey, you're about to play all of these teams whose coaches picked you last. Like these are a group of people that picked you last, and yeah, here they are sitting second place." And they play a really fun brand of basketball. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to score a million points, but just the way they play defense, I mean, they are in people's faces. They're stealing the ball. I mean, they're up in you. Like, it makes it an uncomfortable game for anybody. Like, it's a team that you just don't want to see if you're an opponent. And so it's a really fun brand of basketball. They're feeling themselves a little bit, and you can tell, man, they're playing with some swagger. And here they are, like you said, second place, and they were picked to be last. And they got a few games left, and they're rolling right now.
Yeah, I mean, if they went out, Pat, I hadn't even thought about that. Patrick, literally, they could be 22-8, and let's see, that would be 13-4 in the conference, something like that. Is that right, Bubba?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, that's nuts.
So,
that
math checks out. Yeah, 3 more games to go. So yeah.
Wow, hard to believe, but really proud of them. And I know with you, if I could be there every single game, I'd be right there with you for the ladies. But I know you do a nice job of covering them. And Coach talked about the number of people that are starting to support the program, but they put a winning product on the floor. They've worked very, very hard. They have the defense that was like the foundation for the offense. And now we have a situation where they're starting to score more. Their brand of basketball, like you said, I love the steals and the fast breaks. It's very entertaining to watch. It's not like they're just doing a half-court offense and dribbling the ball up every single time. It's actually real fun to go to the games. If you've never been to a game, I'm doing a sales pitch now because I really want a lot of people there and take my place and bring 10 other people or 20 other people. And speaking of Bubba, we talk about all the time about church groups. If you're a church group, take your youth group on Wednesday night. If you're hearing this, take them on Wednesday night. They'll love you. And it's a lot of fun, and it's great camaraderie for everybody.
Yeah, I think they've already
some reason we can't hear you, Bubba. I don't know.
I know you referenced it in the post game, Dave, as far as Amaya Joyner and her following, and was it also Danae McNeil?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Coach brought that up to Patrick, and I didn't realize.
The charter bus, that was hilarious and awesome to be able to charter a bus with 50 fans, friends and family to come to the game.
Hey, that's whatever it takes to get it done, to get a win. And I know Patrick is going to be great, and hopefully we can get some excitement. I wanted to mention one more thing, Pat. Looking at the time, I know you got to run, but the men's game. So we have the big game on Friday night, of course, at 5:30, and then on Saturday, is that a 2:00 game off the top of my head? 2:00 for the baseball game. And then, so I hope with Pirate Nation, there's no bad weather, because what I want to happen is everybody to go to the baseball game, go get something to eat. Like, we've got a lot of great restaurants in Greenville. And then at 8:00, man, the number one team in the country, that would be that place will go nuts if we can find some way to pull off that upset, right, Bubba?
Of course, and number one team in the nation coming in, like you're saying, Dave. Pirate Nation has to respond and pack Minji's and create the atmosphere that the team deserves. Think about how much fun you had when we rallied from 16 down to defeat Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And sure, the odds are extremely long on Saturday night, but we've seen in the past when Minji's Coliseum is rocking and it's packed to the rafters and you have in excess of 7,500 there, you never know what can happen. So pack the place and give the Pirates a fighting chance to be an equalizer with that 6 man.
We'll definitely be there in section 204, where my seats are, my season tickets, and we're going to be there. We're going to be loud, and I hope that there's a lot of people there, because what else are you doing in Greenville on a Saturday night? Come on, it's only a couple hours to see the basketball game and to have a lot of fun. Patrick, what else do you have? What else are you working on in the Reflector? I want to give you a shout out and get people to read your great columns.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, just like I said, following some ECU baseball. We got some basketball to wrap up, and heading out to PCC baseball this week. So yeah, there's a lot of baseball, and hopefully following a pretty fun women's basketball team that's they got a run in them. So let's see how far they can go, right?
Yeah, and Bubba did a nice job with a preview, by the way, of Shane Winkler, their coach of the softball coach, and they're red hot
Yeah,
this weekend. So want to give them some love too.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want to pop out to them too and write something on them because they had a phenomenal weekend. And I think they're off to a 8-2 start, something like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, they're playing well too. So a lot of good sports here in Greenville.
In fact, there's off the top of my head, we were talking about that. You can go. I think it's at 12:30, but they have the Pirates Clash. I think it was called. But several teams this weekend. So you have baseball, softball, and basketball at home this weekend. So you get your money's worth for sure. Patrick, thank you so much, man. I know that we're running out of time, and you got another story to do. So appreciate you carving out some time for us. Look forward to seeing you this weekend, and hopefully we can get the dub tomorrow at Boys Creek with the Pirates taking on Campbell.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for having me on, guys, and yeah, we'll see you out there.
All right, take care, man.
See ya.
I'll see you later. All right, thanks very much for Patrick coming on, and I know that he's very busy, Bubba. Appreciate him so much for all he does for the Daily Reflector, and a great paper as always. You can go to reflector.com to view his work, by the way. Hey, Bubba, I want to remind everybody too, lots of great programming. Absolute Empowerment we have with Coach Jeff Connors, lots of great content with him. You can check out that great show. Former Strength and Conditioning Center coach. He's been tremendous strength and conditioning coach, and we appreciate him. I want to remind everybody to listen to that. Plus, we've got all kinds of great programming coming up this week. Want to remind folks of that too, right?
Yeah, you talk about Coach Connors having caught up with a lot of great former Pirates, former Pirate players, that is, guys like a Jeff Carr, his wife, Misty Horn, who played basketball back in the day. I guess it was for Ann Donovan. And then you also had, let's see, there's been so many, Terrell Williams, Vontae Leach, Rod Coleman, EMAC, Emmanuel McDaniel, who played right around a decade in the NFL as a corner. Junior Smith, East Carolina's all-time leading rusher. And then there are others as well that I know I'm leaving out.
Coach Steve Logan.
Yep, and tremendous interview of about an hour and 10 minutes with Coach Logan. That one has been very well received, and as you would expect. And then the interview tonight, 7 o'clock, Eastern North Carolina native of Tarboro High School. He played running back at North Carolina, and then also in the NFL for several teams. Sean Drawn will be on the program tonight, so definitely check that out. And it was an excellent conversation between Sean and Coach Connors.
No doubt about it. And Bubba, I know that we're going to have we'll have our North Carolina preview this week coming up. A lot of great content with the Pirates. Not to overlook the great matchup tomorrow at Boys Creek. And what time is first pitch? Is that 4 p.m., Bubba? It's a late afternoon, right?
5 o'clock first pitch.
5 o'clock. I'm sorry.
And if you cannot make it to Patterson Stadium, I believe what it is there, it is. Let's see. It is ESPN Plus. So it's not a Flow Sports situation. The game will be on ESPN Plus tomorrow. Obviously, Campbell's in the Big South, and they have won the Big South, I think, 3 straight years, going for a four-peat this time around.
Yeah, it should be a great matchup, and look forward to that. Want to give a shout out to our good friends at Next Level Training Center, Bubba. I appreciate their sponsorship of Extra Innings, and they do a lot. You can go to their website, nextleveltc.com, or you can go by and check out all their social media. Plus, you can give them a call at 252-756-NEXT. and we appreciate them. Also, on the screen you're seeing right now, for those watching, if you're not, it's pgxgloves.com, and they have all. I've got to order those the end of this week. Nice to get a payday, but order with Mark Menikazi at pgxgloves.com, and they have all kinds of gloves there, lots of cool stuff there, and swag as well. A lot of great t-shirts. Put in the promo code ECU, and you'll get 25% off all products. Bubba, great. My kids get a lot of compliments on the gloves. They have 2 pairs each for baseball and softball, and they get a lot of compliments, especially the customized. They have Alex on one and Mackenzie on the other, and one Alex had blue, that's his favorite color, and Mackenzie's favorite color is red, and they can hook you up. And again, just go to promo code ECU and 25% off all products. And on the screen right now, Bubba has the hat or he did that he has PGX gloves, so good stuff there. Bubba, do you have anything before we go, brother?
Yeah, very quickly. Correction, I knew that didn't sound right. Patterson Stadium's at Louisville. I believe it's Perry
Stadium.
On the campus in Buies Creek.
All right. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to it. I know you guys are. We appreciate the special edition. Want to get Patrick on, to Patrick Mason, that is. And again, Bubba, before we go, I want to remind everybody you did a great job with Coach Justin Hare, who's the head coach of the Campbell Camels. And that was earlier this afternoon. So check that out on our YouTube channel. By the way, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can like us on Facebook. We're on everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So check it out. All right. For Patrick Mason from the Daily Reflector, Bubba Rosenbaum producing and on air, I'm Dave Richmond. Have a great afternoon. And as always, go Pirates.
I'm a pirate down to my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode, from the sidelines down to the post. Put it down like not even close, all out to the last whistle blow. For the flag with the soul and bones. Everybody stand up, get your hands up, let a team know that we got they back. This is our house, this is our town, our time, everyone not copy that. Everybody in the stands go bananas, scream loud, but they don't hold back. Every foot, every yard, every first down, every touchdown with the cannons blast.